right. Welcome back to Passing the Crown. This is episode number 2. I am Camille.
And I'm Leasia. Today, we're talking about what it really means to grow up in a struggle and to dream of wanting more. Because as you guys know, where you start is definitely not where you finish.
That is so right, Leasia.
So let's paint them a picture. I want you to introduce the audience to growing up as Camille. Like, take us back to growing up in Brooklyn and, back in the 80s. Ooh, okay. I mean, 90s. Sorry.
I gotta love this girl. Like, growing up in Brooklyn. Wow. Okay. Man, there's so much I could talk about, but let's just talk about before I had a child at 16. So it was me and my other sister, and my mom. So about 3 of us in a 1-bedroom apartment. I met my boyfriend at the time, who became my husband, Leasia's dad, and we kind of hit it off right away. So there was really no long dating. We hit it off. We started to date very heavy, got very intimate real quick, and I got pregnant. I tell people all the time, I did not get pregnant by accident. It happened because we both wanted to have a child together. So it was never an accident. So when I told my mom that I was pregnant, I came to her not worrying what was she going to do. I just said, hey, I'm having a baby. This is a person and whatever. And my mom kind of embraced it, a little shock at the time. But once she had met Leasia's dad, that was it. I remember I just told you earlier that I had to go to an alternative school when I got pregnant. Oh my God, I hated it. I hated this alternative school because it was a school for women for girls that were pregnant, young girls.
Like in high school.
No, we had one girl in there that was 13.
Oh my God. So middle schoolers too.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Brenda's got a baby.
Yeah, that Brenda got a baby. Mm-hmm. So it's an alternative school, which allows you to still continue to go to school so you wouldn't miss so much of school. Because when you're pregnant, whatever. The idea was good that the public school system had it in New York. However, grouping a whole bunch of women in the same place, and to me it was different because I'm from the 90s, which would be considered East Flatbush, East New York, Brownsville section, the 3 train. I had to commute all the way over to Red Hook.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So that was considered you leaving your hood, your spot, to go to somebody else's spot. And if you don't know nobody there, just know that, you're going to be taken advantage of as far as just people picking on you and so on. Imagine we're all pregnant women, whether we were in the first trimester or whether we were about to give birth, there was still pettiness. There was still people looking, women that wanted to fight, girls that wanted to fight.
So while pregnant?
All while pregnant. And I struggle with that because I've always had a problem in school. And your grandmother used to always say that I was very friendly and I was very pretty. And I don't shy away from that.
And you was used to steal people's boyfriend. Grandma said that a lot.
Oh my God. So I can't help it if your boyfriend liked me. And I took upon, if he liked me, I liked him too. Like, I don't know. He liked me, I like him too. So your grandmother made
He was a city girl early. You was what they would have called a city girl back in the days.
I guess you would call it, but all the guys on the block loved us and liked me a lot, and I liked them a lot. So, I mean, it's not my fault. But to say that, growing up and ripped out of your school because you're pregnant going to another school, it was hard to adjust. I hated going there a lot of times. I remember one time your dad would bring me and stuff and I would tell him what was going on. He just wanted that to be over for me to have my kid and go back to school, which eventually happened, of course. My mom, which is Leasia's grandmother, was such a great support team. She got flack from it, though. She got a lot of pushback because I was young and they told her, Mama, how could you let your daughter have a baby and she's just a baby and you don't live well? You live in a 1-bedroom apartment. Now she's bringing. So yes, that was a struggle for us. We didn't grow up in a big home, so.
And there was more of y'all, right? Because didn't y'all eventually have other cousins?
People we had Judith live with us, my cousin, may she rest in peace. Her mother kicked her out after her dad died because her dad was my mom's cousin. That's how we we're cousins. And my mom had a revolving door. Like if you were a kid that had problems, she didn't mind saying, "Come," even though we lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. We all made it happen. Trust me, we all did. But that's kind of what I grew up in, what I saw, and what I took with me. Right? Yeah, it was the hood. Could you tell me that today? Absolutely. When I was there, did I think it was the hood? I didn't. I loved it, honestly. I met
all the friends was
all your friends was outside. We playing double dutch, hopscotch, freeze tag. There was like, I look at life right now and I look at the kids today. They don't even know what it is to play double dutch. They don't even know what it is to know when to go inside your crib when the light comes down in your neighborhood, because you had the pole, the street lights, and once it come down, and your ass had to be in front of your stoop. So they don't have that. They don't know that. They don't socialize. We socialize. That's how we knew how to fight. That's why we knew about things on the street. We wasn't dumb or oblivious to it, right? We had a crack house, I told you, 2 doors down from the house we lived in.
Oh.
Right? We was at 163. The crack house was 155, East 95th Street between Rutland and Rentham.
Damn, y'all lived on the same block as a crack house?
Yeah.
Y'all used to see crackheads?
We used to see crackheads, and that's how I knew what them vials were, the different color crack vials. Red, yellow, green, different crack vials. And they were like so small, and you would see the little crystal of the crack.
The little rocks.
So we knew we would pick them up, and we like, oh shit, look at that shit. I remember one time your grandma caught me picking it. She said, hoje eu having crackhead, which translates that one day you become a crackhead because you picked up the crackhead on the crackhead vial on the floor. Never happened. Never took drugs in my life, so don't worry about it, guys. Here, but we literally lived a few houses from it. We went to school. We knew that was a place that you could not go into, right? So we would go straight. We of course we would look, of course, because they had so much raids. Back then they used to do police raids like every other month, but I never knew how the crackhead house would go back up again. How you get raided like 10 times in a month and go back into business? But again, kudos to the drug dealers and the crackheads out there. I don't know how you did your job.
Business don't stop, right?
Right.
Business don't stop.
So that,
it was a booming block.
Yes, it was a booming block. It was always something on the block. So, Leasia, that was kind of what we saw, what we looked at. We had fights. We one corner of the block and the other corner of the block, we would have beef. The girls would have beef. We come up and square up. Like that's why I said, like, right now, niggas pulling out guns. Right? Excuse me about the terms. Like, I'm just being raw with it, right? Niggas pull out guns now. Well, we squared up with you. Like, oh, you ain't like me? Like, so let's go. Like, your hair get pulled, you're gonna get a few scratches on your face, you're gonna get your ass jumped. But we squared up. We good. Like, we good. We can walk down the block, we good. But now it's just like, man, you gotta, I don't know, man. It's crazy world we live in right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I guess y'all had to know y'all didn't want to raise me there because I didn't grow up in Brownsville. I know y'all had me there, or like I didn't grow up there.
No. Yeah.
Grew up in Canarsie. Canarsie is like where the people who don't want to be in the hood move. People in Canarsie, they got houses.
That
2 family, 3 family houses. Okay, even if you had an apartment, your apartment was in a house.
Right. Right.
Fancy.
Yes. Canarsie was a booming area before.
And just so y'all know, Canarsie is where Pop Smoke is from.
Correct.
Just reference, because we got a lot of Floridians who watch us.
Yeah. Pop Smoke. There's a big mural over there of Pop Smoke in Canarsie. So this is a beautiful thing to watch. But yeah, we moved to Canarsie, me, your dad, once you was born. About a year in, because we stayed with your grandmother for a year, and then we moved over there and kind of started our own life, our own family, of course. And yeah, that that's kind of our rags to riches story in a sense.
Well, right now we're painting the picture of what it looked like before, like what it was like growing up.
Right, growing up. Yeah,
struggle.
yeah, for sure, yeah. So that was 80s, like you said. I lived on 163 East 95th Street when I from 5 to 16.
Damn. So y'all was there for like the whole time.
Yeah.
So when did grandma move to Ditmas?
So that was later. So we lived. Imagine I still remember where we live, right?
Yeah.
Our first place, 163 East 95th Street, Brooklyn, New York. Zip code is 11212. We lived there. I remember starting kindergarten 5 through 16. So when I got pregnant, then we moved from that location and went and lived on Avenue A and East 91st Street.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah. So from 91st Street, then we moved to Ditmas, which was the Canarsie area, Ditmas Avenue. And then from Ditmas, at that time, I was already married to your dad. We stayed with my mom for about a year. Kat was there, your aunt. Then we moved, and then we went further into Canarsie. But yeah, so we moved pretty much along Brooklyn, along as we matured and know like, hey, yeah, we can't stay in the 90s no more. We have to upgrade.
Dad told me they used to try to break into his car.
They broke into his car 5 different times. We lived on 91st and Avenue A.
Wow.
And when I say break into his car, literally his car was parked in the driveway, and they go in, take his speakers, and back then, if you knew you had a ride, you would put booming sound in it. The radio part could click and come off. So they couldn't take that because he takes it inside, but they would take the speakers.
Oh wow.
Yeah. No, the thieves in Brooklyn.
Ghetto.
No, the thieves in Brooklyn were really thieving.
Yeah, they gonna take something.
They gonna take something. So
yeah, people used to rob people for coats.
Yeah, coats, chains, sneakers. I remember I got robbed for my Sherlin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sherlins was popping back in the day. If you know, you know.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, that was, oh my God, that was an era to be in, I believe. It made you a person, right? The fights, getting robbed, getting jumped on the train. It made you understand that you better have survival mode on. You better be on your game. You better be like this on a swivel board looking around, because they could come for you at any given moment. And if you guys remember The Wire, and Marlo is from Brooklyn, from Franklin Avenue.
I never watched The Wire.
I know. The Wire was a great show.
I have a friend who was on The Wire. He played one of the young guys. I'll show you his page.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get him up on here.
Yeah.
Because
Marlo's from Franklin Avenue.
Wow.
Yes. And if anybody knows who's from Brooklyn and Franklin Avenue, they had the Polo Boys there. They had the Low Brothers there. The low heads were people that only wore polo, low, like knitted sweaters and stuff. They was into polo back then. The nice way to say is Ralph Lauren, but there's the streetwear would be polo and the knitted sweaters and stuff like that. So it was good. It was good. It was the hood, but the hood is what made you put it on for real. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So before we get into my upbringing and stuff, let's us pull the cards. Remember, we did this last time.
I love it.
And you go first because I went first this time.
Yes. So I am gonna pick a card. My card says, I know growth is often disguised as discomfort. This is such a great card, right? When you see it, this means a lot because growth will feel uncomfortable at times. Growth and leaving people behind will feel uncomfortable because if you want to elevate in your life, be better at what you do, you're going to have to leave some people behind, and it's going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, leaving people behind, even switching environments is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
When people want to grow their muscles in the gym, you got to go through that period where it hurts and you uncomfortable.
Yeah. Just like when I moved to Florida, that was like born and raised in New York in a county hospital. Who would have said I would have left New York to go to Florida? But that's what it was, so uncomfortable for me, so out of the norm for me, and it hurt and it bothered me, but I didn't give up. So, yeah. So go ahead, Leasia. Pick a card. Pick a card.
I don't got no nails. I broke off all my nails.
It's okay.
Don't ask.
Your natural beauty.
I only do what sets my soul on fire.
Whew. Love it.
And I swear, when you look at it on the back, it look like it's like, because I'm an Aries, right? Shout out to my Aries. They got a
Love
sun. I'm really into astrology. Like, this is beautiful. And I only do what sets my soul on fire. That's almost like self-explanatory. Like, I'm such a passionate person. I think I pour so much passion into anything I do. I have to be passionate about it. I have to love it. I think that's why I didn't, become a nurse, a doctor, like all the Haitians.
Hold on. Did my daughter just have a whole accent? This is the shit I be talking about, guys. We don't know anybody who has this accent.
We have plenty of family members who are Glamoon, which means old, right? And they talk like this. They have their Haitian accent. So if you guys have ever watched any of them Haitian poppy videos and they do the accent, you know what I'm talking about. Everybody has encountered a Haitian, and they have a very distinctive accent. Okay.
Shout out to my Zoes. You know I love you guys.
Shout out to the Zoe. 1804.
Independent.
Boule kai. Sak pase.
Naboule. That wasn't part of this segment. Let's roll back in.
Okay, let's roll back into that. We just wanted to share that with you guys. Okay, so getting back into it. So I didn't grow up in Brownsville, luckily. Canarsie was a different vibe. I feel like Canarsie was filled with a lot of like parents, right? Or people who wanted to get out of the hood but still be in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Right. Growing up, I didn't think I was broke or poor at all either because, I had both of my parents in the house. Both of my parents were together till I was like 8, 9. So I had both mom and dad. Either mom or dad would pick me up from school.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all had great jobs. So, if I wanted to get ice cream today after school, we was getting ice cream. If we was getting McDonald's, back in the days, the kids are bougie now. The kids want Benihana's and they want Ruth Chris.
Oh, she's throwing shots at her sister. Shout out to Larissa, the young sister.
That's all these kids, though. That's all these kids. I was happy to have my little McDonald's or Chinese food because that Chinese food was...
Your Chinese food.
Mm-hmm. So I feel like I really didn't know that we didn't have until we moved to Long Island. Because Long Island, especially the specific area we moved to, was almost like a culture shock, right? Because in New York, in Brooklyn, just to give you guys a background, growing up in Canarsie, everyone's predominantly Black. Okay. My elementary, middle school, most of the people was Black. Most of the people were Caribbean.
Yes.
Okay. So very similar upbringing. Some people had immigrant parents. Some people had American parents, and their grandparents were Caribbean.
Yes.
Mine was, my dad, was born in Haiti, and then my mom was born in Brooklyn, like me. So you get the best of both worlds, right? And my dad wasn't like a super immigrant parent that was like, oh my God, school, l'école, la caille, school.
The accent again, guys. The accent again, guys.
He wasn't like school, church, like a lot of traditional Haitians. He was pretty cool. Like, my parents were young, so I remember you guys like getting dressed, going out, going to Juve, going to Labor Day parades.
We were lit.
Yeah, y'all were lit. Throwing parties in the backyard.
All day long.
And I was like the kid of the family, so I was always in the mix.
Yep.
With the adults, thinking I was just... Oh, now when we moved to Long Island, we moved to this beautiful town called Hewlett. Okay?
Hewlett.
We ain't gonna talk too much about that. We're not gonna say the J word because we don't want to get canceled.
Right.
Like Kanye.
Yeah, we're not looking to get canceled.
Okay. So Hewlett, 5 Towns area, predominantly white Jewish people. Love them, I don't want no beef. And yeah, but the different... Hewlett wasn't your traditional area because the median income, if you guys ever look it up, is about $250,000, which means the people up there are up about $250,000, right?
And back then, that's a lot.
Just
imagine now.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I'll never forget the first day when I pulled up to school. I'm looking like, am I in a dream? My school looked like Disney Channel. Like the schools you see on Disney Channel with the big football fields and the little panther or bulldog on the middle. We had a mascot. We had floors. You could leave for lunchtime. In Brooklyn, most of the schools are these ugly brick buildings that just straight down, right, with windows. Most of them had bars on the windows. You couldn't open the windows, or they had frosted windows that you couldn't open, right? You can't leave the building for lunch.
Absolutely not.
You had to stay in that building all day. It felt like prison. It felt like prison. Hewlett felt like I said, like what you would picture. And I went there for high school, right? So I did grade school and middle school in Brooklyn. So it was a culture shock for me. I had never seen this many white people. You know, I'm this beautiful brown girl from Brooklyn. So I already had my little swanky accent. And it was just different, you know? I probably was one of the few people who had a single mom because it was a lot of 2-parent households.
Yes, there was.
People were coming to my school driving up in Lamborghinis, Benzes, cars I never even knew a Lamborghini existed till I went to that school. And my best friend at the time, shout out to her, Amani, and she was Jamaican. So it was amazing to see a Black family have money. Her dad drove a Lamborghini and drove her to school every day in a Lamborghini until she turned 16 and he bought her a brand new Benz. Pow, straight off the lot. Okay?
Yes.
Now, when I started seeing this, that's when I realized, okay, we don't got money like that, you know? Plus, I would say as we got a little older, you know, that's when you start wanting things and your parents is like, look, I can't buy you no $200 sneakers. We don't got it like that. So you start to really realize, okay, so there's a difference, or like what they would say, like classism. Like these people are upper class. I must be lower class because they pulling up in Benz. We don't got no car right now, you know?
Well, I had a Nissan Sentra.
You did.
Yeah.
Did you have it the whole time when we was living in Long Island?
When we moved up there, I had an Altima first, a 4-door Altima, and then from the Altima, I went to the Nissan Sentra. Okay. Yeah, I didn't get luxury cars until I moved to Florida. Okay. Yeah, because there was no purpose for it in New York.
So I think probably because there was a time you used to take the trains and buses to work.
Right, because I would park and then I would have to commute trains and bus. Yep. You remember, you have good memory. Go ahead.
I mean, I was old enough to have kids develop memory at 3-4 years old.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Yeah.
you know, that's when you started to see a difference. I mean, I would go over some of my friends' houses. They lived in mansions. And when I say mansions, like actual mansions where they had 2-3 floors in their home, you know, 5-6 bedrooms.
Yeah, I remember I had to drive you to a bar mitzvah.
No, I didn't go to a bar.
It wasn't a bar mitzvah
because that's 13. By the time,
no, then it was a birthday party.
It was a birthday. Yeah, it was a birthday party. Sweet 16.
Yes, I was driving in the neighborhood, and I'm looking my little car. Like you said, it was a culture shock, right? Mm-hmm. And then just seeing that we lived in this tiny apartment, and then you're driving in a rolling driveway going up to a mansion to drop your kid off at a birthday party. So just think about that. If she's already shocked about this and she have these friends, I'm appalled because I can't even give my kid that, right? Although you never imagine giving your kids that because you stop at a certain, you're stopped at a certain boundary, right? You stop because you didn't see the person behind you have it in your family. Mm-hmm. So what makes you think you're able to get it?
You didn't see it. I mean, we've never... I mean, there's mansions in Brooklyn, right? But we wasn't going behind Midwood to go drive over there. And then honestly, you almost don't fathom that people are living like that until you're like up close and personal. Like I never thought, like when we lived in the house, like when my dad bought his house, I thought that was a mansion at the time. Until I went to, and he had a big house. The house had what, 3-4 bedrooms. It had a basement, had an attic. But then you go to Hewlett. And Hewlett, where we lived specifically, because we lived in they had probably like 2 buildings in the whole community.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm so sorry. And of course, I'm just saying, it just so happened that a lot of the black and brown people, Spanish, because we had some sprinkle of Spanish in there, we were the ones that lived in the buildings, except my two black friends they was well off. So they lived behind the school. That's where you had all the mansions.
Yeah.
And there was like a lake back there or some type of pond. So some people had boats, yachts. So even before we came to Miami, I was seeing yachts, and these people had them in their backyard, like
Parked
after
up.
school, like, hey, you want to come on my dad's yacht? The pool, one of my friends, her house was so big, I'll never forget. It was my first time I went to a pool party, right? This boy named Darius had a little crush on me. And like we were all gonna go to his house. He had a pool house. That was stuff I only seen on TV. He had a pool house, a big house and a pool house. So that kind of let me know, okay, there's levels to this. But like I said, as I got older, I was always grateful that you did bring us there, even though, because I was mad. I was so mad when we first went to Long Island. I'm leaving all my friends. I'm leaving Brooklyn. Everyone's cool here. I wanted to go, I wanted to go to one of the local schools. I'm like, Mom, being me, she want to move me out to Long Island. All these kids is lame. These white kids, they don't got, and you feel me? And everybody was gravitating to me at first because I'm the cool kid from Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? I got my own little swag. I'm mad aggressive. I remember I was kind of scaring some of the people off because I would be like, "What you looking at?" I was like a little bully. But it made me realize early on, like, okay, I want to live like this. Like, I want a mansion. I want a Benz. Like, if I have kids one day, I want to be able to buy my kid a brand new Benz at 16. That was fly. That was It was so real. It was so many levels to the amount of money people had. There were kids pulling. I remember my first day of school, someone pulled up in a Porsche. Wasn't his parents. He parked that Porsche, beep, beep, walked into school. They had money, okay? They had money.
So it was safe to say that it was like Will Smith and when he went to live when he went to live with his cousin in Beverly Hills, Fresh Prince of Bel Air. So that was the culture shock for Leasia, right? And of course, she knows that with all my heart, we moved out there because and that's any parent, right? Want for their kids is to move somewhere so you can better your kids' education and her to network with people that she was going to grow up with. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
So did living in Hewlett inspire you too? Because again, this was new to you too.
It was. Living in Hewlett only inspired me because my kids. I gotta say, your brother is high on the spectrum of autism, so I definitely wanted a great private public school for him. Hewlett was going to give it to me, and of course, I wanted your high school. I wanted you to be in a great high school, top of the line high school. That's why I moved there. But as far as me, I kept the same friends. So if you think about leveling up or wanting more at that time, I was comfortable where I was at. I felt like the fact that I made that Long Island move.
I was like, that's it.
I'm good. I'm good.
My kids in good school. That's right. I did my part.
Exactly. So I felt like, and it felt like I did my part because that's what I did. But of course,
and you did, because I went to a good school. I went to college. I had a little scholarship to go to Barry. That's how I ended up in Florida for a little bit. So yeah. Because who knows? Because I know, like, your biggest thing that you emphasized when I was growing up was do not get pregnant. Like, you was like a crazy strict parent, but you was like, do not come home pregnant, please, 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 please. That was like your biggest nightmare. Oh my God. I used to be like, this lady is crazy. I do not want to have a baby.
Well, you all you know that was said to you because and honestly, I say that a lot because Leasia is the age that she is now, and she doesn't have any kids, right? But growing up, I know I got pregnant early. I was just very fortunate and found a great father, right? However, fast forward in today's time or when she was 16, 17, the only thing I could say, because remember, it's repeated cycle. Repeated cycle. You have a child, your child has a child at an early age. So I had to make sure that I was constantly telling you that. And did you move like somebody? And again, I'm not disrespecting anyone, right? So I got to say this: my child wasn't moving like a quick child, and you know this as a parent when your child moves a certain way and
Yeah, because
developing.
I was scared straight. So I guess you did your job because you was so crazy that I was like, I am so scared of this lady. Like, boys would try to talk to me. I'd be like, look, my mom a little crazy, okay?
Yeah.
I probably got into boys like 15, 16. That's when I started feeling myself. But I recognize that too because I had friends who was 10, 11, 12 already,
Yeah.
doing the do.
Yeah.
Especially in Brooklyn. I had a lot of friends that was doing the do. But surprisingly, them white people be loose too. They was doing
Loose
all
like a
types of
goose.
dudes, doing all types of dudes, drugs, all that.
Yes.
It's crazy to see how some of my classmates turned out because they was turned out
Yeah.
in school.
Yeah. And it happens. So I'm very happy where Leasia and I are, right, in our relationship because and I guess as you see different episode, we'll unpack a lot of stuff and you'll understand the dynamics of this relationship that we have, right? And it's understanding, having the viewers understand that when you have a daughter at a young age or at any age, you got to know that how you want and what you want to instill in this child is a reflection of you. And it doesn't come with a handbook. Remember, I've always told you that. I say, look, you were my first. There was no handbooks on how to raise a child. You learn from what you saw your parents do or the generation after you, and therefore, right? So Leasia was my oops child, not oops meaning I had her and it was a mistake. Oops meaning that she got the short end of the stick because she was first. And then I had a second child who had a lot of problems along the way. So that means that I gave a lot of times to that second child because I had to, be on top of his school and getting him proper help and so on. So I kind of put her here and said, hey, you got this, right? Shorty, like, boom, you got this. Boom. We handshakes to you. You got this. And kind of went on and went on and went on, but not really stopping and say, hey, what's up? But again, as we got older, as a lot of things between me and her would escalate or blow up, and she would always say, like, woman, like, there's certain things you weren't there. And I sit around and look at her like, girl, what you talking about? I was here. I was present. I might have been present, but not present the way she wanted me to be present. So that's important too. And again, you're the audience, you guys will get to understand that, will get to see that. And again, it's a learning process for me because being a parent, right? And you have your child telling you certain things, it's never comfortable. It's not an easy pill to swallow. That's it. Because we feel like once we've put a roof over your head and you didn't suffer these certain circumstances, we see that you should be great, but it really isn't that way. And I'm learning that every day. She speaks to me, she pulls me to the side, and she'll like redirect certain things to me. She like, look, we're gonna be candid about certain things. You gotta let me speak my truth. And I'll try to block out a lot of stuff she'll tell me. I'll be like, man, come on now, like, don't even go do that with me. And she'll be like, see what I'm saying? So let's come back to this table when you're ready to hear my truth. So that's important. And like I told her today, even when we were talking today, she sent me this text and I'm reading it. Like I've learned now to read things and dissect it before answering, right? That's important to do because sometimes I used to read things and just send stuff off and not really understanding the question in itself, right? So I read it again and said, I like this. Let's chop it up some more and then we could talk more about it and then dissect more because that's very important to get the perspective of someone that's been in your life all her life to tell me. It's hard to I tell her every day, like when she tell me things or say, Mom, you're not doing this right. I'd be looking at her crazy. I'd be like, girl, what you talking about? I'm your whole mama. But it makes sense because she sees me, she sees Camille and then she sees Mom. So she's able to witness the two different sides of me. Business mom, for sure, and then mom. And then I always let her know, I ain't your friend because you my daughter, What?
That was her favorite line growing up. I ain't your friend. I'm your mom.
Yeah, like
And I used to be looking at her like, I didn't even know what she's talking about. I didn't even ask to be friends.
Sometimes you gotta let them know, because again, growing up around me.
Grandma must have been saying that to you a lot, huh?
No, see, the thing is, your grandmother wasn't the person I can have a conversation with. Right? I told you that. Your grandmother never said I love you, because Haitian parents don't use the word I love you because they feel like they give you food, you have a shelter, and they put clothes on your back. So that is their way of telling you that they love you without saying the word I love you.
And grandma also didn't grow up with a mom. So, because you usually get your maternal and your affection from your mom. She grew up with her aunt and uncle who, grandma's story is a little bit different. That lady was rough. She was just naturally a rough.
Yeah.
You would have thought she had the hardest life ever.
Right.
I've heard she lived pretty
She
privileged.
lived a soft life in Haiti. Yeah.
So I don't know where this roughness came from. Maybe she was into rough men.
No, it's, I know we're getting off topic a little, just to talk about your grandmother in that sense. Today I was speaking to my mom's younger sister. She's 77, Evelyn.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We spoke for an hour and 58 minutes, right? Because me and her have that type of relationship. We'll jump on, and then we kind of go in this silent mode, not because we have any beef, just because we're both Virgos. So there's sometimes that we kind of just break away, and it's okay. And we come back together. And one of the things that she said to me was that my mom was the oldest, because they had the same father, not the same mother. So grandma was born first. She was a twin. Her twin passed, and she was the only one that was alive. And then her mother passed away shortly after. And her father, which is Auntie's Evelyn dad, was the one that kind of didn't raise her, because she was raised with the auntie. And then, but that father was the one, grandma's father was the one who brought her to America.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I know this because, like you said, at a young age, you could remember certain things, right? I remember my grandfather, we used to go to his house, and they would have bingo nights on Friday.
Oh, wow.
Every
Where
Friday.
did grandpa live?
And which that house is still there in Bed-Stuy and Putnam Avenue.
Oh, wow.
That was the family house. So that was grandpa's house with his wife, and his wife would always come see grandma and us when we were smaller every week. There was a relationship, but my mom was very rebellious. She was older, and she felt like her father did a lot more for her, because he remarried and had 4 other kids.
So he was trying to spread the love amongst all his kids.
Correct. And your grandmother, my mom, felt that she got the short end of the stick, because one, she lost her mom. 2, she was raised by her grandmother on her mom's side. I mean, her aunt from her mom's side. And then when the father did bring her to the States, she didn't get along with her siblings. So she quickly just left and had kids, and she already came to the States with having 2 older kids. So just imagine coming into someone's home, and now there's rules that you got to follow. And grandma came into the States, she was about 28 years old.
Oh, yeah. So she was grown.
She was grown. She was grown. So even talking to my aunt today, and we were just reminiscing about that. And she was just like, I was teaching your mom English. I was teaching my older sister English. But just imagine, I'm 77 today, right? And your mom at the time, she was my older sister. The dynamics of all that, it was hard for her. She's coming into a home that's not her home, but it's her dad. So that played a lot on us, and why grandma was the way she was with us. Who did she have given her affection?
No.
Who did she have, right? She had 6 of us. She had 4 baby fathers. She was married twice. So just kind of figure out, where was she going to tell me or us that she loved us? She just knew that she had to survive. She had to provide for us so we can survive. So that rubbed on us too as well. I tried my best to always use the word I love you. You're great and stuff like that. But it's hard. It's a training. It's a mindset, right? because, you know, again, just exactly to the point, when you grow up in a certain environment, what you see is what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Because you see it, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. You think it's normal. This
Yeah.
is like the norm.
Right. And then when you go around other people and how they raise their kids,
You're like, oh my God, they're hugging over here, Mom. And she's like, shut up.
Yep. There go that Haitian accent again, girl.
But that's what grandma said. So I could just imagine.
Ashita.
Don't ask me nothing.
Yeah.
Go sit down. Don't ask me stupid questions. If I love you, you don't see I made you food.
Yes, yes. And as you know, I get that from her cooking all the time. To me, is a way of expressing my love to my kids, my friends, and acts of gifts. Because I love giving gifts. And, you know, when I like you, I appreciate you. That's what I'm going to do. Where some people can look at it as, oh, I'm trying to kiss somebody's ass. And really, I'm not. It's just because I may appreciate you. And I notice you like something. So why don't you take this? I'll cook for you.
Yeah, that's like your that's your love language, acts of service and giving gifts.
Yes.
I'm sorry, we done speared away off the segment.
Yes, I'm so
far.
sorry. Let's get back, guys.
I'm like, look, so where we at? Hold on. But wow. I never knew y'all that grandpa. How come I never went to grandpa's house?
He passed away back then.
Oh.
Grandpa passed away 88.
Oh wow. So
yeah, you were not even thought of.
Yeah.
So no.
And then I know grandma didn't get along with her siblings at all, because grandma done told me damn near her whole life story. I did not even know grandma had a brother. First of all, I never even put two and two together that Auntie Evelyn was grandma's youngest sister.
Yeah.
But Auntie Evelyn used to come around a lot. You and Auntie Evelyn was close.
Yeah, we had a relation. Yeah.
But I didn't know grandma even had a brother. So when she
Couple of
passed
brothers.
away,
Couple of brothers.
I don't think I got to meet the other
one. So two passed.
Okay.
There's one that's alive that lives in Delaware.
That's Tamara's.
Tamara's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're real cool, you know.
Yeah.
And you met him when he came down here in Florida. Yeah. So, and her older sister, who's 78, is still alive.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's mom and then her.
Auntie Evelyn. I'm like, wow.
No, Auntie Evelyn, but there's an older sister.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, there's another one. Three of her sisters are still alive.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I know grandma was. And they all said she was stubborn, she was tough, she didn't like people. Grandma was tough. Okay, she was tough.
Yeah, she was.
That lady was harsh. I used to be like, grandma, you buggy. So let's bring it back into like, when was a moment that you knew you wanted more? Because you know we went from Brooklyn to Long Island, so we were exposed to a different lifestyle. When was the moment that you were like, okay, like I want more than this?
When I moved to Florida, when I made that decision in 2015, that especially you had already went off to college. At that point, I just felt like I was running into the same walls, running into the same situations. Me and your aunt Katia, our relationship just went spiraling downhill. We were not in a good place together, and then grandma getting involved with that too, and I needed an outlet, and I just knew I needed better. And I remember always praying, telling God, like, if you cut me a break, I promise I'll pay back in full. I just kept saying that to myself because I had ran my course in New York. I couldn't stay there anymore. It was just, it had became, I was suffocating. I couldn't breathe. Everything I was doing was just not working out for me in no capacity.
Like, was it like you felt like you were living check to check, or were you trying to like start businesses then?
No, I was even thinking about that because I didn't, my mind wasn't even wondering about opening a business. It was just the people in the surrounding around me just made it difficult for me to move, to elevate, to broaden my horizon. And moving to Florida, I remember Nadia said to me, and she looked at me, she said, yo, you are so beautiful, and you're being held back because you feel like something is holding you down here. So you're not tied down to any commitments here. And at that time you left, I had Larissa.
Mm-hmm.
Larissa's father was an asshole. And I'm being nice. Okay? I'm being nice right now. I didn't want to grow up in the same circumstance with her. I wanted to give her a chance.
Oh.
And Nadia told me that you should just move to Florida, because the worst that can happen, if it doesn't work, you come back. And some people are scared to make changes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're so, this is where I'm at, this is where I'm going to die, this is where I'm going to whatever. So when I decided to leave Florida, and I'm skipping because I actually moved to Canada with Larissa. That it didn't work out, but I'm skipping that part because that was horrible on my yeah. When I decided to move to Florida, it was just the right thing to do. I sold whatever I could sell in my apartment. I moved with $1,200 in my pocket, plus the money you gave me when I came to see you before I left.
I don't even remember. I think I took that money from my boyfriend.
Yeah. I don't know. Leasia had gave me, like, I remember I called. I said, hey, I'm moving to Florida. She was like, really? She was like, you for real? I said, yeah, I'm moving. She was like, well, I said, you have any money? She was like, yeah, you can come. I'll give you some money. She gave me some money. I don't recall the amount. And I took the road. And it took me almost 3 days to get to Florida, just because I stopped along the way. I went to see Auntie Fabiola. I just kind of stopped and went and see people, Monique and stuff like that along the way. But as I was driving, in my head, I didn't really want to go. But I had already said it, and I said, damn, I can't be defeated by this. Like I said I was going to go, so let me go.
Oh, wow.
So, you know.
That was such a trend. You know, it's so interesting because when I graduated high school, my biggest thing is I just wanted to get out, right? I was like, I was already planting little seeds in myself from high school. I think, like, you know, we were heavily influenced by like music and TV. I used to watch a lot of like hip hop videos. So I was looking at a lot of the people on the videos like, damn, they got the cars that the people that I'm going to high school with, guys. So, and honestly, this is why I ended up in Miami, because I don't think I ever told you I was obsessed with Drake.
Is Drake from Miami?
No, he's from Canada, but this was during this time. This was like OVO when it first started. Like, this was like I graduated in 2013, right? So this is when he dropped like I forgot what album. Probably was like Thank Me Later or something. One of those albums.
You know, I don't look at Drake like that because I look at him from the Degrassi and the wheelchairs.
And I grew up on Drake from Degrassi. I used to watch Degrassi. So, you know, him, Lil Wayne and them, they used to rap about Miami all the time. I'm not gonna lie, this is when Black China was big. So I was already like, I'm gonna go to Miami. I'm gonna get put on. I'm gonna become a dancer. I'm gonna get me a Benz. I'm gonna get me a condo. I'm gonna be living on the beach. This was my plans.
So let me put my mother hat on. What? I had no clue that she was going to Miami to be a dancer.
School was just the ticket out the crib. I was like, my parents is crazy. They strict. I can't do nothing. I want money. This is just not it. And listen, when I first came to college, I tried to get a job. Remember, I went on them job interviews. I tried to get a job. It was so hard to get a job. And I remember I used to be mad because I used to be like, I'm here in college. They done send me to college. I don't got no money. They giving me like $200 a month, which was nothing. Okay, because the Barry was one of those campuses that at a certain time everything was closed.
Yeah, I remember.
They had only like 2-3 places where you could eat besides the cafeteria that used to always be closed. Weekends was closed. So it was like, where are we supposed to eat? And then the cafeteria would only be open between a certain period of time. So let's say if it was open at 8, it would close at like 11. And then open again at 1, close again at like 3. So if you had classes during this time, you had to like kind of coordinate it where you could, you know. And then moving to Miami, I got I'm 18. I got introduced into like partying because y'all wasn't really letting me party. Maybe a sweet 16 or two, and then they're like, come back. You did too much today. So I'm getting introduced to party. I'm getting introduced to alcohol. I got all this freedom. So I was like, oh my God, this is adult life. This is lit. Yeah.
And
then
we had no idea.
Yeah, y'all have no idea. They didn't. But it's just crazy because I don't really know what made me just start thinking like this was my ticket to get a lot of money. Because I just knew I didn't want to be broke. I was tired of hearing I'm broke, I can't do this, broke, I can't do that. So I just knew like, okay, this is like the next step. Now, when I got into dancing in Miami, again, I was very young. So that was an experience in itself. Maybe we'll go into that in another episode. Got into party.
So you danced in Miami. That
I
is
did.
oh, okay.
I danced.
So this is the real truth right here, guys. You've heard rumors that my daughter did come out to Miami and dance, right? But I, as a mom, I didn't witness it.
Who was? I always
Remember I told you one day I got a phone call by my homeboy Price. May he rest in peace. If y'all know Price, y'all know Price. You know what I'm saying? He did his bid and then he died in Haiti. But Price, my homeboy Price called a friend of mine's indirectly and told my friend, yo, I think I saw Camille's daughter
Oh my God.
at a strip club. Now, mind you, this didn't come to me, so it went to my sister first, and then my sister kind of spinned it off with everybody else before it came to me. So I'm hearing the chatters. Another reason me and my sister fell off too, because a lot of the chatters, and then somebody was like, "Yeah, I heard your sister. I heard your daughter's in the strip club." I said, "No, not my daughter. I don't know nothing about that.
Not my daughter that went to Catholic school, did communion, all that.
Right? She was an altar server. She did her communion. I mean, I had her in church heavy, so I said, not my daughter. And even if I wanted to believe it, my head wouldn't allow me to believe it. So let's just be clear, right? People were saying it, the chatters were going around. I tuned myself out of it. Because when you're a parent, you have these expectations for your kids. When you start hearing things, you block those out because that's not what you want to hear. So I just pretended like that wasn't my reality. And
cognitive dissonance.
That's what it's called. And again,
that's my psych degree, y'all.
Yeah, and that's that college degree right there. See? So
my friend was talking about that last night. I said, "Oh, girl, I remember I learned that in school." She's like, "Yeah." I was like,
yeah. So that's why she's talking about it very freely and open now because we are at a different space in our life. But that was always that was always a taboo conversation because that wasn't part of what I wanted to hear.
I didn't have the type of parents where I could come tell them this. They probably would have slapped this out of me like, "Excuse me." So I kept it down low. I didn't even know people in New York knew. My aunt did call me one day though and ask me like, "Are you dancing?" I think I lied to her. I was like, "I don't know what you talking about, auntie." Got off the phone fast. I was like, "This lady trying to snitch on me." But I was dancing. I made a lot of money. I didn't know what to do with money because that was really my first time having money, and y'all never really taught me what to do with money. I just knew that y'all paid bills with the money y'all was getting. So I thought I ain't have no bills. I just had a cell phone bill. So I wasted a lot of my money. Like I said, we got into partying. So me and my homegirls, because I didn't dance by myself, I had a homegirl I danced with. We would take our money, go to South Beach, go shopping, go eat lobster and steak at the restaurant.
Surf and turf.
Go to the clubs because at this time I was dating this guy he was older. If I was 18, he was like 24, 25. And he used to get us in all the clubs at the time. Dream, Room Service, Bamboo, like all those clubs. And had us in the sections. And sometimes I used to get mad and get my feelings because I wasn't the only little college girl he was running around with. I felt like I was the main one because I used to always be in the sections with him. But girls used to have beef with me because, he was I'm not even gonna say his name because whatever. I ain't gonna get you no clout. You know who you is though. So and he had an Audi, so I thought I was real fly. But I was like, you know what, F him, I'm gonna start popping my own bottles. So that's where a lot of my money got wasted fast. And then we got caught up. We went through a lot of crazy stuff. Oh my God, I got a million stories for Miami. We gonna save that. But that last day of school, well, first of all, as the school was coming to end, someone robbed my cell phone out of my dorm. Don't know how. Took my last little $300, so I was dead broke. Cousins was supposed to help me pack my stuff so I could go to New York. That didn't work out. So by the time I finally made it to New York, I was so over it. I was like, I'm not going back to Florida.
I remember when you said
Just stay in New York. And then I remember I had a job. So I was working at Red Mango. Then I ended up working at Target.
and
Then I ended up
Apple.
Apple.
Yep.
So I was just going up the ladder, making money. I was one of the youngest people to work at Apple. I was 19 years old. I was making at the time probably like $15.
No, you were making $20. I remember.
Yeah, I was
You were
making money.
Apple.
I was making
Yeah.
some money.
Mhm.
And it was cool, you know. I took the train to work. I learned sales. I was really good at sales from a young age. Of course, because you know, if you're in a strip club, you got to learn how to talk to people. So I was not shy at all. The strip club will teach you the sales skills that you need. Don't sleep on them dances, okay? The dancers know how to. We know how to sell drinks. We know how to sell lap dances, and we know how to sell ourselves on stage. Okay,
Again, guys,
a good
this is
day.
new to me.
And I used to work day shift at Coco's. Okay, that was my main club. Coco's day shift. Yes, I used to because I only had Coco's club. It's not too far from Barry. It's closed now. It's closed now. It's what was that? 111th. It's over there in Miami.
Okay.
The first club I ever worked at was Take One, but Take One, the office was too rough for me. I danced at both of those clubs. It was a little too rough. Okay, office used to have Sunday day shift that was late. It was too rough for me. The first time someone slapped my ass too hard, I said, "Oh, this is a little too rough." Coco's.
Wow. I gotta put my mom hat back on. This is so weird. I'm like the Haitians said, let me drink a little glue. This is a lot for the this is a lot for the braids.
I was so done. Listen, I liked Coco's because Coco's was when I met my first little sugar daddy. He was an older white man. He used to give me some extra money. You have to understand, when I said I was making money and I wish I knew what to do with the money, because there were some days. So my thing used to be, all right, if I make $500, I'm good. The day shift used to be like 1 to 8 o'clock. Once I would make my $500, I pay my little $50 tip out. I'm out of there. So sometimes I'm getting off of work like 6 o'clock, make my little 500. On really good days, I was making about $1,000 or better. But I didn't understand money. So I probably go dance maybe once or twice a week. That was enough money for me to go party and eat lobster and steak with my friends. Go shop, buy a little Forever 21, maybe our little designer thing. And then yeah.
Okay. Let's move on. We're gonna have Portia, the host, come out here. You know that's my girl. And when she told me, she looked at my daughter, looked at me. She said, "This your daughter?" Mind you, for all the Miami heads that know Portia, I met her out here, and she has been such a true and honest friend. Right? I've known her whole life, in a matter of 3 years knowing her. Right? And she looked at my daughter. She said, "I know your daughter." I said, "No, ma'am. We live in New York. She went to college here, so I'm pretty sure you know." She said, "I know her. I seen her before." And at that time, she was working at G5.
But I was a bottle girl.
Oh yeah,
I was a bottle girl.
She said, "No, I seen this pretty red skinned girl before." Woo!
I was a bottle girl.
Just again, just for visual reasons. So you thinking, and you're like, bottle girl, stripper. So I'm thinking those are two of the same. Okay, because you know
she used to see the outfits like.
I don't. Yeah.
I think my dad took me off Facebook around them times. He just was like, I ain't gonna look at this shit.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, you can learn a lot about your kids when you don't want to. Trust me.
Listen, I feel like that showed very young I was ambitious, because I was willing to do what a lot of people wasn't willing to do to make money. And it was tough, okay? Because the first time I ever danced, they had like an amateur night at King of Diamonds, right? And this is when they used to have party buses that would pick us up from the colleges and would go to King of Diamonds for college night. And the DJ would always say, who want to go on stage and get the tips? So the girls would go on stage and they would get the tips. And I remember the first time I did it, I was like, okay, shit, I'm going to go on stage. I think I'm fine. You know, they was like, yeah, take off your shirt. I was like, okay, it's cool. We all boobs. It was all girls in there. So I'm like, whatever. I've always been like, I guess, bold, right? But the part that I wasn't ready for was they was like, okay, put out your underwear. It was me and one girl on the stage. I wasn't ready for that. I didn't pull out my underwear. She wanted $3,000. But she came and she was like, she gave me a little $500. Like, hey, girl, you know. And that's what was like, oh, the people make money like that? Oh, yeah, that. And I feel like that's when I knew I wanted more, because I knew like, okay, I'm in this new city. I want to be able to get around. I want to be able to buy myself the things. And I realized like, yeah, whether I can get a job or not, I'm going to create a source of income for me. So and I met a lot of people in the strip club, and I got put onto other opportunities, you know, and honestly, I kept my morals very intact, because I did, you seen a lot being in the strip club, you know, yeah, there was people giving little $50 blowjobs in the back, you know, but I had to
Wow.
do all that. I was young and hot, 18, you know, I had cute little perky little boobs and shit. So the guys was just giving us the money.
Well, but all the people that go to college, please don't do that to young men. Please don't, because your mother would be mortified. But again,
You have some people that be knowing their kids be dancing. My friend who is dancing, her mom used to be a dancer.
oh my God.
And her mom danced to put herself through nursing school. So the daughter was, and honestly, she's the one who kind of put the battery in my back, like, we should go dance, girl. My mom used to dance.
Please don't put a battery in nobody's back. Look, so Leasia knows me about the strip club life, right? That was never a thing for me. Maybe growing up in New York, we didn't have strip clubs. You dated a nigga that was on the streets, and he got you stuff.
Mhm.
So we didn't do the strip thing, right? So moving to Florida has made me realize that everybody who came from a broken home, every woman that came from a broken home ended up becoming a stripper, and they glorified it. And again, I don't knock anybody who did it. I always say that there's a choice you make in life. That was their choice. That's what they did. Just like I had a choice. I was a teen mom. I chose to be a teen mom, and I chose to go to work. I chose to finish high school, and etc. So everyone does choose what they want. I've always been adamant about women stripping. I'm like a Mother Teresa in that case. I don't like it. I don't. Again, I have friends in the industry. I know people that were in the industry. I respect that was their hustle. But if someone were to come to me and ask me, hey, Camille, is this something I should do? I would always move against it and say, hey, there is another option. There is another way, another means of getting money. There's another skill set for you to do or something like that. And again, that was me. And again, it stems down to maybe because I wasn't comfortable at that time to have my body to be shown to the public, or like my mother used to always say, keep what you have intact, in a sense that let a man wonder what's underneath you. And we live in a generation, or we live in a time now where women now don't give the man the option to wonder.
Well, let me say, that's very different. Dating and stripping is different, because stripping is like a job, right? And then the strip clubs have been open since the 80s, 70s. Matter of fact, since like 60s, when they had little showgirls and little peep shows and stuff in the city. So you don't go to the strip club with the intentions of dating any of your customers, right? That it's you the strip club is really a business. So it's really like, ooh, what is that?
Sorry, my watch started to talk.
Oh, okay, right. We gonna wrap it up.
Okay.
But the strip club is a business, honestly. I don't knock the strippers. Maybe because I came from the lifestyle. I have it taught me a lot about myself. It helped me mature, because because y'all was so strict, I was very sheltered. So there was a lot of things I wasn't exposed to. So when you get thrown into like a college and then I don't know what made me decide I'm going to go to college in Miami. It's a whole different lifestyle you get exposed to. And then, I was in a school with a lot of white kids. They wasn't really checking for me like that. They was, but they was shy. Now I'm in Miami. We got the dope boys. I'm attracted. I'm seeing a lot of different things. I'm like, oh my God, this life is so different. And it matured me. I met women in the strip club who gave me a lot of game. Um, that's why I was able to keep my morals intact, because it's easy to get in the strip club. And, you know, also, back then it was very different. People didn't have phones in the strip club, so you didn't have to worry about nobody recording you while you was on stage or giving a lap dance. They actually weren't allowed to record in the strip club, like, so I started in that era. I feel like when I danced, it was different. Like, I experienced, it's so different now. You know what I'm saying? It was more, you had to have a really good mouth game. Like, you had to be able to talk. You had to have charisma. You had to have confidence, especially when you work during the day. During the day, you had a lot of professional men come in. A lot of Coco's used to attract a lot of professional men, a lot of ex-football players, a lot of managers, teams. So I was meeting a lot of different people. And that's how I started getting little different opportunities and also networking with different people, because um, I feel like a lot of people, kind of like you, they see like the degrading part of the strip club. They don't see the business side of the strip club, and they don't see like, it taught me that men do live kind of a double life, right? Men,
And I'm sorry, how long did you do this for?
right, like a year. When I came back to New York, I used to dance in New York too.
There's strip clubs in New York?
Seriously.
Oh yeah, because that's why I saw Cardi B and her manager at
Yeah.
the time was Haitian.
So I,
You're
I
right.
worked at Sue's in New York, same club as Cardi B. I met Cardi B before. I worked at Perlu. I worked at Heavens. I worked at Trap House in Brooklyn. Yeah, I danced. And then when I liked money. So once I realized this was even when I had jobs, when I was living in Brooklyn, working at Apple, I used to dance sometimes. Like, if I wanted a little extra money, I would dance. When I lost my job at Apple, before I could get my next job or gig, I was dancing. I was dancing until I met my ex, who introduced me to a whole other lifestyle that we gonna talk on a later episode. But yeah, and
So you said that you kind of did this for like a year or two.
mhm,
Which one?
on and off,
For
because
two?
you don't, yeah, more or less like, probably 1 2. I would say from like 20. I really started 2014 to like 2015, 20, right before I moved, probably down here.
Okay, great. So this is not a profession for her. She actually just did it just to make money.
Yeah, just to me. I mean, that's what
Absolutely.
everybody doing. I
Okay.
mean, there are some professional strippers.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I know.
I've met some people who, and these
I
girls
know.
don't even got to take their clothes off. None. There was royalty back in the days who used to light her heel on fire. You had pole assassin, who used to climb up the 30. And I used to look at these women in awe, because it's like, to me, that was so boss. You're making your own money. You have all this charisma. They're beautiful. There's an art behind like the entire strip club that is lost, that we don't have no more, because now it became such an easy hustle and lick that the girls who do it, they don't got no customer service skills. You needed customer service skills. You had to actually look like something. Now these girls, first of all, the Spanish girls is taking over the clubs.
That part.
Okay.
Shout out to Booby Trap. And again, I don't go to strip clubs, but I went to Booby Trap. That's like a whole different, like, that's my money type of Booby Trap. Like, I like stuff like that. The food was good, the drinks were not cheap, and the women smelled good. I'm not talking about Victoria smell good. I'm talking about like Baccarat smell good.
Yeah, they took over the game. And I'm not gonna lie, like, I was there when it was still like a real Black cultural thing. I would say it was similar to like the strip club scene in Atlanta. But and sometimes I think about that. I'm always like, damn, I kind of wish I would have went to Atlanta and danced, because I probably would have really made some book. I know dancers who have houses off of that, So it was never something that I looked down on or as degrading or anything. Because to me, I always thought like, we all are humans. We all have bodies, like, I don't know, probably because I also did theater in high school. So I wasn't shy. I wasn't shy. Like, so I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
Just takes a bold person. I'm a risk taker.
This is Camille again here on Passing the Crown. I mean, today was yo. I know when this episode come out, please DM me about my facial expression, and just know that there's nothing but love here between my daughter and I, because again, sometimes the truth that you hear may not be the truth that you want to hear, but you got to hear it. You got to hear it. So I'm I am lost for words, but I love it. This was a great episode.
This was a great episode. We're gonna piggyback because we gonna tie it all together as the episodes come. Y'all gonna learn more about us for sure.
We're signing out on this one. Episode 2, signed out.
Passing the Crown. Make sure that you guys follow us on all social media platforms at Passing the Crown Podcast. Make sure you guys like, subscribe if y'all want to keep hearing these crazy episodes, right, Mom?
Yes.
So you ain't never wanted to be a stripper?
I never had a dream of being a stripper. No.
All right, y'all.
All right.